Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a warm welcome to the Voice of the Cape on 91.3 FM. Yes, that is our frequency on the radio, but right now we are live on our digital platforms for apologies for the Voice of the Cape Matric revision program for 2024. And the program is proudly sponsored by the Two Oceans Graduate Institute. And if you're wondering what the Two Oceans Graduate Institute is all about, well, you can check the credits down below, but I'll just be sharing that with you. And the Institute is an accredited online platform where you can learn to become an educator, be it primary school or high school. And you can actually, study in the comfort of your home. You would not need to travel to, attend in-person classes. Everything is done virtually. But check out the Two Oceans Graduate Institute by visiting their website, which is www.togi.ac.za, or you can call the office on 021-829-7015. Well, without any further delay, we are very happy to introduce you to one of our new facilitators joining our sessions, and he's none other than Ridwan Basir. He is the program director and a course facilitator at New Dimensions School of Design, and the subject that we'll be covering today is in engineering, graphics and design. Assalamu alaikum, Ridwan. Welcome to VOC and to the Matric Online Revision Program.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and greetings to the listeners, and those are the matriculants of 2024. Good to be online and doing the session with the VOC. It always is going to be an opportunity for learners, but particularly those in grade 12, to get full advantage of what we are going to present this afternoon.
Wonderful. So yes, just to give you an idea of the session, so we're looking at, hosting the session for approximately, say, roughly 40 minutes. And in the session, obviously, we'll be covering the topic. But I think I'll hand over to you, Ridwan, to proceed. You obviously are representing New Dimensions, and you are a school of design. So just before we get into the lesson, maybe just briefly to give us an insight on New Dimensions.
Very briefly, New Dimensions is a company that offers technical support, tutoring, and the subject engineering, graphics, and design. And it's a big name, engineering, graphics, and design. And the subject is big because we draw on A3 paper. And
Wow.
We offer that to grade 10s. And it starts in grade 10 and it continues grade 11. And they complete it in grade 12, like any other subject at any school. But this is a technical subject. It is for technically inclined people. It's offered mostly at technical institutions. But New Dimension School of Design has made that available to all learners in grade 9 currently, who are going to be choosing their subjects in grade 10 for 2025 and onwards, to be able to do it. And they don't even need to leave their school to go to a technical school. They can do it completely online in the comfort of their homes, in the comfort of their rooms, and they can do it completely with online lessons and video material that we've created for them.
And of course, this is a subject which grade 12 learners will be tested on, hence us having these revision programs. And I can only imagine, if this is a subject you are busy on, you basically have chosen in your school as a subject in terms of your schooling career, these extra lessons are very beneficial. But I'm going to hand over to you, Ridwan, to proceed with today's lesson and just unpack exactly what you will be covering today.
All right, great. I'm going to share my screen immediately, and I want to give you a bit of a rundown. Seems that this is the start of many of the sessions that we will be having online, and we will be doing for the Voice of the Cape. So on my screen at the moment, just to give you an overview of engineering, graphics, and design, and what it entails for those who perhaps are listening to the online tutoring and just needs to get an idea of what this particular subject is all about. And what I'm going to present to you is a completely breakdown of everything, how it works in engineering, graphics and design for grade 12 particularly. And also it comes directly from the CAP syllabus. We look at the subject, which basically splits into two parts. So you will have civil drawings on the one side, and you will have mechanical drawings on the other side. And of course, these two different components, civil drawings forms paper 1, and the mechanical drawings forms paper 2. And it has specifically been designed like this by the department so that we can have learners who have a real interest in civil drawings to pursue a career in the civil industry. And then you have those learners who want to pursue a career in mechanics. They are going to be more au fait with the mechanical drawings part. So it's paper 1 and paper 2, and every single paper has 4 questions, which we are going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. And we're going to break down the paper into different bits and parts. So if you look at the civil paper 1, which has 25% weighting. So paper 1, which the learners will be writing now at the end of the year, that particular paper carries a weighting of 25%, and the paper 2, mechanical paper, has a weighting of 25% as well. And this is what the teachers at schools don't actually have control over. So basically what happens is that there's a certain part which we have control over, and I'm going to be talking about that in a moment. But this, which we don't have control over, which we also do during the year in terms of your mid-year examination, as well as your prelims, which the grade 12s are currently busy with. So at the moment, we have paper 1, which consists of question 1, which is analytical civil. And like all papers and all subjects, you have lower order, middle order, and higher order sections of the work. And in this particular paper, I would say, being a matric moderator, that your analytical civil question is basically your lower order sort of section of the paper. And then we have question number 2, which is your solids, geometry, which we have, and interpenetration and development. So they can either ask you either a solid geometry, or alternatively, they could ask you an interpenetration and development question. But I can guarantee you that they won't ask both, because there won't be time for both. And both of these are complete different modules on their own. So just keep in mind, it's either solids or interpenetration and development. And then we have question number 3, which is the perspective drawings. And these are all civil related questions. Perspective drawings, it's a 3D type of drawing that we do in civil drawings. And then question number 4, as you can see on the screen, we have civil floor plans, and that is drawn to a scale of 1:50. We have elevations, which are drawn to 1:50. And then we have a detailed section in that particular paper, which is scaled down to 1:20. So 2 1:50s and 1:20. And the weighting of this particular question is just less of 50%, because if you look at any paper, you will see that the mark allocated for question 4 is almost 90 marks. 90, it ranges from 90 to 95 out of a question paper of 200. So you are slightly short of 50%. So if you really study this question really well, you are able to attain a really good mark as sort of a standard where you can start from and then work through the others to actually improve your mark. And then if you go over to the other side, we have a very similar setup where we have the analytical mechanical, which also would be regarded as the lower order type of section of the question paper, where everybody can get involved because it's basic question and answers that you will have to find. And I will be doing this particular one just after this slide. Then we have question number 2, which deals with all mechanical things. And in this case, we have loci cams, and we have loci mechanisms. So these are the two modules that could be asked in this particular question. In this case, they can either ask a full CAM or they could ask a loci. But they also could ask both a CAM and a loci as a combination. So they can ask one mechanism and one half a CAM, which is either the CAM profile or it can be the CAM displacement diagram. I've seen that in many papers over the last 5 to 6 years, that if they do ask you a CAM, it's either a full CAM, but if they don't ask you a full CAM, there will be a mechanism question added to that as well to make up question number 2. Then we have very similar like civil drawings paper 1, we have isometric drawings, and this is the 3D version of mechanical drawings. And then question number 4 is our assembly drawings. This is regarded as more the higher order part of the question paper, where you are literally given different machine components like bolts and nuts and pulleys and gears and brackets and washers and bushes, and you need to actually, they're all separately packed out on a piece of paper, and you have to have the intellect and the experience and the knowledge to be able to put it together as one unit, and furthermore put a cutting line through it so that you can see all the parts as it has been assembled. And that is quite interesting to do. It takes a lot of brain power to be able to put things together. And that would come either as a front view or a top view, or it can either also be a left or a right view. And one of the views will always be a view that they will ask to be cut and will be sectioned. But we will talk about each individual question as the weeks progress leading up to the final NSC examination. So 25% and 25%, and then we look at the SBA mark, which is 25%. So what is the SBA mark? The SBA mark consists in engineering, graphics, and design, the course drawings, and every grade 12 learner must present 15 course drawings according to the CAP syllabus and the mark sheet, ranging from different topics and different modules that we do in EGD for the year over the three terms. And then there will be a mid-year examination that will be which they will have done during the June exam, and they are currently busy with the prelim exams, which will all be put together sort of in a blender, and it will come out 25%, which is basically 100 marks. That will be 100 marks, 25%, and this will be 100 marks. And then finally, the learners are also concluding what we call a practical assessment task, which is one of the major components in EGD, which basically starts at the beginning of the year. And I think right about now, many learners are just completing the practical assessment task or have completed already, which also has a weighting of 25%. Now, these are the two components, 25 and 25, which we as educators at various schools have control over. We can actually allow learners to redo some of the things, some of the course drawings, and assist them with the practical assessment tasks so that they can actually score a mark, which is really going to be a solid foundation going into the examination for paper 1 and paper 2. All right, so that is basically the outline. What I'm going to do next is that I'm going to zoom in for this particular session on question 1, which is your analytical civil, and I've prepared one for you. You will see it's here. It comes from the 2023, which was written last year during the NSC exam. So I'm taking a very recent paper, so you can see and get a feel of what the examiners are actually asking and how they are questioning the different how they're questioning certain things, what they want to retrieve from this drawing, just to get a sort of an idea of last year's paper, and maybe have a sort of an idea of what will be ahead of you, either for your prelims or for your NSC at the end of the year, which is not too far away. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and just talk you through this, give you a little bit of tips, what you need to look out for and how we mark. Now, as I've mentioned, I am one of the WCED moderators for paper one, working closely with the curriculum advisor, Mr. Patrick Julius. And at the end of the year, we sit and analyze the memos for days, specifically 2 days, looking at all the possible answers that our learners are presenting, and to ensure that we do not make mistakes, and we don't, and ensure that we give learners the maximum benefit from the papers which they have written. So if you look at this question, and it's important for you to read, we have a tendency just to start, but it's important for you to take at least 2 to 3 minutes of your examination just to read and find yourself, what am I busy with? What is available on this page? And it states here that the site plan of an existing service station with a proposed new fast food outlet and a covered walkway, a title panel, and a table of questions that is given to you. The drawing is not presented to an indicated scale. Okay, that is very important to read that. So, and then furthermore, you will see that you need to complete the table below by neatly answering the questions, which they are all referring to the accompanying civil content. Now, what I would suggest is for you, just before you start answering, just have a look at take a scan of what is on the page. There's a note there, there's some information here, which is in the form of a symbol legend. There's a surveyor's certificate and some information here regarding corner heights and boundary lengths. And then you have here 2 open spaces here for the shower, which we're going to be looking at. There's a list of questions and space for you to answer, and the mark allocation, which is very important. And then also here's a title panel here consisting of lots of information, which we are going to be looking at. And then here you have a site plan. Now, a site plan is basically an aerial view. If you take a drone and you run over a certain plot and you take a snapshot, this is basically what it is. And it shows you a lot of detail around. So there's the petrol station, and there's the proposed new fast food outlet. This is the existing building. So you've got to make sure that you understand what's happening here. There's a road quality street here on this side, and there's 7th Avenue on that side, and the width of the road is there. There's an entrance here and an exit there, and there's some trees here. So familiarize yourself first with what is going on this page here and what is happening here with the site plan, and sort of live yourself in it. Like, say to yourself that if I have a car, there's a zebra crossing, and I'm going to go into that side there and, come out the side. So you got to live in the paper, in this question, to be able to understand it. And for you to understand it will allow you to answer this question much better. So let's look at this questions from 1 to number 21. And of course, there are lower order questions. I would say from 1 to number 8 would be lower order. And then we have middle order questions from 9 running up until number 17. And then you will have the higher order questions, which will be here. And you can see the mark allocation determines the order that we are in. So I'm going to try and sort of type in the answers. So just bear with me. So we have, what is the email address of the architectural firm? And you're going to scan, and you see there's ACE Architects, and that is the information of the firm. But right there, you will see that there is acearch@africa.com. So yes, that is going to be your answer. Let me see if I can just fill that answer in. So if I scroll up, so right here, I'm going to put in my answer. So it's going to be ACE arc at Africa, and it's going to be, I just want to make sure I've got it correctly because yes, africa.com. So it's going to be .com. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't matter if you have capital letters or small letters, the answer remains the same. The next one is, what is the scale indicated for the site plan? If you're going to scan down, you will find that in the title bar, you will see, just want to move that out of the way, you will see that there is a scale here, 1:450. And that's what you are going to put in here, 1:450. Colon 450. Okay, there's your answer. If you go to the next question, the next question is, when was the first revision made to the drawing? So you need to go down and look at the revision table now. This is the table here. It's normally upside down because the headings are at the bottom, revision date description. And what is happening doesn't move down, but it moves up. So you have your first revision, right? And you have your second revision. And the question is the first revision, right? And that, the date of the when refers to the date. So that's going to be the 30th of the 1st, 2023. So you are going to go here and you're going to type in 30 slash or colon 01 and 2023. You're going to put there. Okay. Just put that. So that's your answer there for that one. Remember, we don't differentiate between whether you write it like that. The format can be any. You can write 30th of January 2023. You can have the year first and the day at the back. It really doesn't matter. Your answer is your answer as it is if it spells out the correct date. Number 4, into which street does the service station exit? And if you look at the street here, and I want to go down, you will find the exit point is in Quality Street. So Quality Street is going to be your answer. And I'm going to type it in here. So I'm doing this as I'm doing it in the exam. You know how you need to answer. Quality Street. Here it is. So these are all lower order, so it's easy to find. 5. What is the height of the highest corner of lot 22 in meters? What is the height of the highest corner of lot 22 in meters? So you need to establish lot 22. That is lot 22 that you see here. So there are corners here, and the corners are indicated by letters A, B. You will see C, D, and E. Those are the corners. So it doesn't give you the corners here, right? Doesn't mean that there aren't corners heights available. You got to go up here and see in this little table here, there are corner heights, and you need to find the corner height, which is the lowest or the highest, sorry, that will be corner B, which is 351. The lowest one obviously is going to be 349, and the one in between 350, but the one that we are looking for is the highest one of 351. So that's going to be my answer, 351. Okay. Next question. What is the finish on all the existing driveways? What is the finish on all the existing driveways? So you got to have to scan here what the finish is. And it says here, brick paving laid on all existing driveways. So it tells you basically there what the answer is. So you have to go and write in brick paving for number 6. Here's your answer, brick paving. Number 7, how many existing underground fuel tanks are shown? Right, another low order question. So you go back here and you look at the fuel tanks. There's 1, to 3 existing 1, 2, 3 existing fuel tanks, and that is your answer, a simple 3. Okay. Number 8, on what feature in the road is the zebra crossing? So you have to go down to the road. The road is right here. There it says zebra crossing on 3.6 meter wide, and the answer that we are looking for is the speed hump. Okay, that is the main answer. The zebra crossing is on the speed hump. You don't need to state how wide it is. You just need to say the speed hump. So the answer there is going to be, to number 8, is going to be speed hump. So I'm going to type that in. All right, number 9, what is the fall of the existing sewer line? So the fall means that, water must run from a high point to a low point. That's how it moves from one point to another. So we got to go back to our site plan here, and we look at existing sewer line. There it states the existing sewer line. That's the new sewer line, existing sewer line, and it's laid at 1:40. So that 1:40 is a ratio. It tells you the type of slope that we have, how steep or how gentle the slope is. So the answer that you are literally going to put in is 1:40. So I'm going to just type it in here. 1:40. Number 10. What is the height of the electronic display board in meters? What is the height of the electronic display board in meters? So you've got to look at your site plan again and see that there is your electronic display board. It has a width of 7,500, which is 7.5 meters. It has a thickness of 100, and it has H as a height of 2,500. But very importantly, if you look at the question, they do ask for the question, what is the height of the electronic display board in millimeters? So they can either ask you in meters or millimeters. In this case, in millimeters would simply be what we have there, 2,500, which I'm going to type in as my answer. But keep in mind, should they change this question, and they like to change the question to meters if they give you something in millimeters, which is there. All you need to do is to convert, divide by 1,000, or you need to place 3 decimal places from the back, the comma, to get 2.5 meters. If you look at number 11, what does the abbreviation G at 1 stand for? So G is situated right there. You will see there's a G, that's number 1. G abbreviates gully. What is a gully? A gully is a small little drain attached to the wall, outside wall of your house. And that is where all the exit water, the waste exit water from your basin, from your sink, from your shower, from your bath, all assemble at the point which basically leads from that specific point to your sewer line that we see there. Okay, so it's a little drain, and the answer to, what it abbreviates is G for the word gully. You look at number 12, question number 12, name the feature at 2. So let's look at what number 2 is basically referring to. These are these little things over here. If you don't know what it is, you don't need to break your brain about it. Just go up here to the legend and it will tell you evergreen tree. We would be satisfied with just a tree, but we need, if you want to be specific, evergreen tree would then be the answer. Okay, so I'm going to type in here evergreen tree. Okay. Number 13, grade 12, what does the feature At 3 indicate, back to my site plan. I'm scanning base number 3. This is this piece of line that you see here. Now, here I want to just pause for a moment because there's always lots of debate at the marking center when we look at this, because the children, the grade 12s, they can't figure out what this is. Now, remember, this is lot 22 that we have here, the main lot. So the neighbors next door has lot 24. There's normally neighbors next door. And as this would be buildings on here, that would be a building on there, which is incomplete because we don't complete that, because that lot 24 is not the focus here. So there's only a part of it shown here. So what the grade 12s normally answer here is that they will say building, or they will say structure, or they will say dwelling. These are all synonyms, and they are correct. But there is something that must be before that word, before structure, before dwelling, before building. You can even say a wall. And that identification needs to take place. If you write the structure, or if you write this building, we're actually not going to give you the 1 mark. We're actually not going to give you the 1 mark. We want you to say that that building belongs to the neighbors. So you can say neighbors building, neighbors wall, neighbors dwelling, or you can use a nice fancy word, adjacent building, adjacent structure, adjacent wall, whatever. So that specific word, neighbors, we will accept, but the proper name that we are going to accept here now for this memo is going to be the word adjacent. So we're going to write that in. Sorry, just correct my spelling there. Adjacent building, and you can say building, dwelling. These are also in the structure and so on. Wall even. Those are all answers that would suffice for number 13. Okay. Let's go to number 14. Now you will see that it's becoming a little bit more intense because it's now harboring on middle order. To what must the new sewer line be connected? To what must the new sewer line be connected? That's the question for number 14. So there's the new sewer line. It comes from there. Where is it going to go? It's going to connect to the existing sewer line. So it's going to connect to the existing sewer line. So that is going to be your answer to number 14. Existing sewer line. Now you can also write existing sewage line. Sewer line, sewage line, they would be all correct. So that connects. Number 15. What is the thickness of the concrete apron in meters? What is the thickness of the concrete apron in meters? So if you look here, they talk about the concrete apron being here, this section here. What's that? It is called that the surface. It's a concrete surface. And they want to know the thickness. There is 150 written here. So that is normally 150. If you want to put that into context, you will take your ruler. It's 15 centimeters or 150 millimeters. So it's 150 millimeters as they stated there. But very importantly, as I said earlier on, they want the answer in meters. So what you got to do now is that you have to take the 150 and you divide it by 1,000. Right? Or you have to move your comma. But the answer that you're going to get if you divide it by 1,000 is going to be 0,15. Right? 0,15. You don't even need to write the word M there because we would accept that as meters. Okay. Number 16. In what color must new walkways be indicated on the site plans? In what color must new walkways be indicated on the site plan? Now, I just want to pause here at this because we have a number of colors which would normally be associated with the SANS document that we use, SANS 10143, which would be universal colors in civil. In this particular instance, the walkways, the color, it's a new structure. Any new development will be in red. Okay, will be in red. Now, just to pause there, I want to run you through a few colors because the color question is definitely going to come in. And you, in fact, they will sometimes ask you 2 color questions according to the SANS 10143 document. So the color for new development, new building, new proposed building, if you look at this site even here, if this was a color copy, then the proposed new things would have been colored in red. It would have been colored in red. If you have new concrete, it's green. If you have new wood, it's yellow. If you have new iron or steel, it is blue. If you look at new glass, it's black. If you have a new sewer line, it's brown. And if you are looking at all existing things on a site plan, will be in gray. So you need to know those colors, please. Okay, ensure that you know those colors because there will definitely be 1 or 2 of those in the examination comes the end of the year. Number 17, in which elevation, now that word elevation can come from north, south, west, and east, or in between. Very importantly, which elevation of the new fast food outlet faces 7th Avenue? This is a higher order because it's for 2 marks. Because you need to get direction in order and you need to find the proper direction and you know where 7th Avenue is. Now here I'm just want to give you a little sketch on my screen. So I'm going to move. So I want us to understand the elevation which faces 7th Avenue. So 7th Avenue is here. This is where 7th Avenue is. Right? That is where 7th Avenue is. And this is where the new fast food outlet is, right there. So now you have to go and look at your symbol that you have there, right? That's your symbol. Obviously, your symbol here, that part is north. Arrow shows north always. Opposite to north will be south. On your left-hand side will be west. And your right-hand side will be east. Now, many learners can identify directly from the symbol. What I would suggest to make it easier if you're struggling with this question is to actually, let me just change my color, make it nice and bold and red. What I would suggest is that take this symbol and place that symbol in that order right here, right, in pencil. Now you know that that is north. This is south. A cross there would bring this to west and that to east. Now all you have to do is this A section here between faces 7th Avenue. So that would give us south and east, which is southeastern direction or elevation, but the word southeast would suffice. And I will type that in. We will accept SE as an abbreviation as well. As an answer, you don't have to write it out in full, but I'm going to write it out in full. So south, east, or I'm just going to put SE down there as well. Number 18, if wall SS on the new fast food outlet is 4.8 meters from the boundary line AB, it's 4.8 meters from the boundary line AB. How far is it from the building line TT in meters? Now, this is a highly technical question. So you have to go right here. And I want to zoom in a little bit so that you can see clearly what is being asked here. So they say that the distance, and I just want to make sure I understand the question correctly and we don't have any ambiguity here. They say the distance from the new fast food outlet is 4.5 from the boundary line to the to SS on the new fast food, right? That's 4.5. They want to know how far is it from the building line. How far is it from the building line? So let's go here and we are going to say this SS. Now, let me just change my cursor. So from here to there, this is the boundary line that you will see there, right? This is SS. From here to there, it is going to be 4.8. Remember 4.8. How much is it from this here to there? They want this distance. Now, for you to find that out, you need to take this 3000 BL into consideration, because we write it horizontally on the BL. But this actually means, if you don't know this, the distance from the building line to the boundary line, which is going to be 3000 or 3 meters. So what needs to happen is literally, you need to say 4.8 or 4,800 minus 3,000. And that is going to leave you with 1,800. And if I check here for that answer, they want the answer in millimeters. So you don't need to convert anything. What I am going to do is simply give you the whole answer. I'm going to say 4,800. Oops. 4,800 minus 3,000. And your answer is going to be 1,800. Right? And that's in millimeters. Now, we've reached the last 3 questions. These are what I believe the higher order questions of this particular question 1, analytical. Number 19, in the space below, which is here, there you're going to do a calculation, right? Determine the perimeter, and word perimeter, of lot 22. So what do they want us to do? They want us to take the length from A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, and E back to A. All of that. They don't give it here on the site plan. But where are you going to find it? You're going to find it right here. Right? You're going to find it right here. But the important thing is that your answer must be in meters. And they give it here in millimeters. So you have to know where to place the comma, or you simply can divide by 1,000. Now, in this case, you need to take your calculator. You need to take your calculator, and I'm going to do it right here so that you can see. I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to type in 40. All right, I'm just going to take 40 because the three zeros I don't need, 40, and I'm going to plus that, and I'm going to say 48. Right, and I'm going to plus that as well. And I'm going to say here, 3 decimal places, 23, 23, 340 plus, I'm going to have 7.5. All right, 7.5 plus plus 44, 560. right? And my answer is going to be equals, and my answer to all of that, which I'm going to add up, because I've already converted that to meters by putting my comma there, is going to be 163, comma 4. That is my answer, meters. Right. Now, let me say this to you, grade 12s. This is very important. If you had taken 40,000 as it is, and you've taken all of this, all you need to do at the end is to divide by 1,000 to get to 163.4 meters. Right? No problem. This is one of the biggest mistakes grade 12s make in the final exam, is that they don't know how to convert to meters. That's why you saw me writing it out. I just took the meters immediately on my calculator and placed the comma exactly. Once you place the comma in the correct place, you are converting that to meters. So when we mark this, many learners get the total incorrect. It's for 3 marks. So where are the 3 marks allocated? The 1 mark is allocated because the learner plussed. He plussed. The learner knew that he had to add things. That's the 1 mark. The other mark was the correct answer, 163.4, right? And because it's in meters, he gets an additional mark to make up the 3 marks. We're not really worried about if you don't put the M there, because the M doesn't matter in this case. But to play it safe, rather put the M there. Okay? Now I want to tell you something extra. Apart from the fact that you get this wrong, you're not going to get 0 out of 0 for this particular question. If you plus, even if you plus the wrong totals, if we see a plus, we're going to give you 1 mark. And it sounds very ridiculous. I even want to go to the extreme by saying, if you had written A plus B and just leave it at that, you're going to get 1 mark. And this comes from a moderator. I've been a marker, I've been a moderator. The fact that you had that the learner knew, the grade 12 learner knew that he had to plus, you will get rewarded for that plus. Even if you have the incorrect total, even though you say A plus B, you will at least get 1 mark. You won't get the 2nd mark and the 3rd mark because the answer is incorrect. So just keep that in mind. Okay, I just want to take my answer and move it to where it should be. Just bear with me. Just take it down. So you're going to put this in this space over here, right? Please, grade 12, do not just write the answer. Do not just write the answer. If you only write the answer and no calculations, we're only going to give you mark. You might lose 1 mark for the calculation and only get the 2 marks for the correct answer, right? You want all 3 marks. Right, that's done. Second last one. In the space below, which is here for number 20, determine the total area of the existing building in square meters. Now this has nothing to do now with the site. That was the site. And we are looking at this here, which is the building. And they give it to you in this diagram. Now, just before I get there, I just forgot about something which I want to mention about the perimeter, which is very important for you to understand as well. They asked the question here, determine the perimeter. The perimeter is right around. If this question was, determine the fence around lot 22, there would have been a slight difference. And I just want to take you there. Because if there was a fence right around, you would have added up all the totals as I did, right? But you would have subtracted 6 meters for the entrance here and 6 meters for the exit here, because the fencing doesn't go across here, the entrances and exits. Please, learners, that is important for you to read and understand that if they ask for the perimeter, you just carry on by adding everything. But if they ask for the fence, you need to ensure that wherever there are gaps, like an entrance or exit or a gate, that specific section needs to be subtracted from your answer to get to the final answer. Okay, I thought I'll just mention that. Then here, very technical, it's an irregular shape. We know it's length times breadth, but we need to find a method of how to calculate this. Now, I've seen learners who do pure maths get this one wrong, right? And it is, in fact, a mathematical literacy question. It's all about strategy. So what I would suggest is that, and I want to just change my line here, or my pencil, my cursor, and put a line and break this up into that part there, and break up another part here. And now I have 1, 2, 3 rectangular shapes. I've got 3 rectangular shapes, right? And every one should have a length and a breadth, or a length and a width. If I look at the big one, there's 10,000, there's 9,200. That's a length and breadth. If I look at this one here, it has no length there. It has no breadth here. So I need to calculate this, right? I need to calculate that. If I look at this here, it has a length there, but it doesn't have this over here. So I need to calculate that. Okay? So what you need to do is to calculate the omitted sides first. You need to calculate the omitted sides first. So if you calculate, for example, this here, right? Then you are going to take, for example, this 16,4, and you're going to subtract 13,200 from 16,400, right? You're going to subtract that from that to give you this part here. And that part is going to give you 3.2. I just want to make it 3.2. What am I doing? 3.2. Okay, 3.2. If you subtract 13,200 from 16400, 3.2. Okay, now you have that. You can calculate that. And if you want to work out this over here, right, you will have to subtract, firstly, you will have to subtract this 13.2 from the 9,200. Subtract these two, and you're going to get that over there, and that's going to give you 4. You subtract that. Okay, that is, and then for you to be able to find out this part here, you need to say 10,000 subtracted, and subtract this 2,600 from each other. That will be subtracted from this. And for that, you're going to get like 7.4. So you need to do these calculations on here. Even if you do it here, you must do it on here so that you know, and then you write it in. And once you have all of that, you now have 3 separate parts. You can label them A, B, and C. All right? And C. And you work out each one separately. And then at the end, at the very end, you are simply going to add them. Now I want to just bear with me as I do this one quickly. I'm going to say, and you will see that I do it in a certain order. It's nice and neat for me to understand and read and to mark. I'm going to say A dash, and then I'm going to say the first one, which is the small one. That is going to be 6.2, and already with that I am converting it to meters times 3.2. 3.2, and my answer there, learners, is going to be 19.84. Sorry, 19.84. Right, that's my answer. That's the small one. That's A. 6.2 times 3.2. Right, 6.2. And then I'm going to go to B. And I'm going to say dash. And the next one is going to be 7.5. Sorry, 7.4. Okay, my computer is very slow at the moment. Sorry. 7.4 times 4. So this is 4 here, and that's 7.4. And my answer to that is going to be 29.6. Okay. Sorry, 29.6. That's my answer there. Remember, these are all meter squares here. All meter squares. And then C dash. My last one, the big one, is going to be 10 meters. I'm just taking the 10 times 9.2. And my answer, my answer is going to be the 92. 92 meters square. Okay, so the answer to all of that, if you add it, is going to be 141.44 meter square. And that is your answer to the question number 20. Okay, shukran so much. We will do a recap. That is a rundown of question number 1, and hopefully we will meet up again soon and go through number 21.
It was certainly very informative. I want to remind the viewers that they can check out your website, which is www.schoolofdesign.co.za, or you are with a new dimension School of Design, inshallah. But yes, that is a wrap. It was very informative. I felt like I can now start drawing my own plans and stuff. That's how informative it was for me. But yes, we look forward to having you back next week, inshallah. Yes, so for some more on, the subject that you're covering. Shukran so much.
Yeah. Afwan, man, I just need to work on my time because I never knew it's going to take so long.
No problem.
I think the typing in was a bit of a struggle for me.
No
but
problem.
Yeah, shukran. I will definitely work on my time next time.
Awesome. Shukran again. Take care, inshallah.
Okay, you too. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And yes, that is a wrap of our session for today, sponsored by the Two Oceans Graduate Institute. You can check out their website, which is www.togi.ac.za. And then you can also call them on 021 8297015. From myself, Kanita Kamar, that is a wrap. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.